We just saw him do another one of those crazy maneuvers at an intersection. Looks like he's going to turn right, looks like he might go straight, and then at the last moment turns left. Again, this is the Lenox area, and you can see, boy, even more LAPD officers behind, or sheriff's deputies behind him right now.
Yeah, and you can see that these units are right on top of them now. I think they're going to be looking forward to ending this thing. It's just before it gets any worse.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We haven't seen any accidents or collisions from this suspect because of the way he is driving. When you say they're getting ready to end it, there are a number of things that they can do to bring this pursuit to a conclusion, because it doesn't look like this guy's going to give up. What are the options here?
They always have, well, in this case, you know, you're looking for an optimum speed of 35 miles per hour to pit him. That would be the optimum, but I've seen it done at faster speeds. And of course, there's always the spike strip, but that's not going to work here because we have no idea where he's going. He's going real fast. Units won't be able to deploy it in time. So I think now they're just staying on him, just to see if they can get him to stop, or if hopefully he'll turn into a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, we're hoping
we could end this thing.
Hoping it doesn't end with a collision of an innocent person. Westbound on Spruce, this is the Inglewood area. Sheriff's Department pursuing a driver wanted for reckless driving under the influence. It started in the Compton area. Atlantis and Agnes went onto the 710 freeway for a while, onto the westbound 105. We saw the driver driving very erratically, driving in the wrong lanes into oncoming traffic, driving very quickly, making these crazy moves at intersections, and coming very close to some pedestrians. You can see the officers are right behind him in those black and whites, and looks like he's got more oncoming traffic here. Dave Avila, retired LAPD officer, on the telephone with us. Dave, can you tell us sort of what's going on in that lead vehicle behind this suspect?
They're going to be calling the pursuit as the vehicles go. Now, if they feel there's one suspect in the vehicle that they can tell, then they'll stay on it. They'll request an additional unit, maybe, and then a third unit, maybe a supervisor, because the supervisor is supposed to, at least with LAPD policy, the supervisors to join any pursuit. So you might have the two-man car up front, supervisor in the rear, and if they feel necessary, they can request additional units.
Boy, more traffic right here, but they are not pulling back. We were talking to Dave Avila from the LAPD Sheriff's Department. We're going to go back to the telephone. We have someone from the LA County Sheriff's Department on the telephone with us. Is it Grubbs?
Benjamin Grubb.
Benjamin Grubbs. And yes. Your title, sir?
Sergeant with the Sheriff's Information Bureau.
All right, bring us up to date on this pursuit, Sergeant.
Sure.
What do you know about the person behind the wheel in this vehicle?
You know, I don't have a whole lot of information on the driver of the vehicle. What I can tell you is at approximately 11:25, a pursuit began in the area of Paramount, which is within the jurisdiction of the Sheriff's Department's Lakewood station. And the deputies observed the suspect driving so flagrantly reckless that it became apparent that they needed to try to make an attempt to stop the vehicle.
And we initially heard that they suspect this person is under the influence. Is that right?
Again, I don't have the information on the motivation for the suspect to run, or if the suspect is intoxicated, but his actions prior to the attempted vehicle stop gave that inference to the deputies that attempted to detain him.
All right, so they tried to pull him over, and he did not comply. We're saying this is a man behind the wheel?
You know, I'm sorry to even infer that. I do not know if it's a man or a male or female behind the wheel of the vehicle. I don't even have that much information, unfortunately.
Okay, but the person did not pull over. Is that correct?
Correct. That was about approximately 11:25 when the pursuit began. And the information I have is that out of an abundance of caution, at approximately 11:35, the Sheriff's Department made the decision, weighing the safety of the public, to go into what's called a surveillance mode, which is where the ground units back off and the Aero Bureau's helicopter follows the suspect.
All right, but it looks like they are back in full pursuit mode right now.
Okay, if I'm looking at the same footage that you guys have on Channel 9, it appears to me that the vehicles directly behind it now apparently appear to be California Highway Patrol officers.
All right, so the pursuit has been handed off to CHP, and what role does the sheriff's department play in this right now?
Well, the investigation is ultimately the sheriff's department, since this began with our pursuit. However, we rely on all the resources that we have available to us, including the California Highway Patrol, which is a great resource to assist us in trying to stop this suspect.
Sergeant, looking at these live pictures right now from Sky 9, it looks like the CHP officer is getting pretty close. Would this be an area that you think they might attempt to pit maneuver?
You know what? I can't comment on the California Highway Patrol's protocols for pit maneuvers or their pursuit policies because I don't know those. So I can't comment on what may be appropriate and not when it comes to the pit maneuver, since we don't use that and we don't train typically for the pit maneuver.
The patrol car that is moving up behind it looks like it is reinforced, so perhaps we are about to see a pit maneuver. It's in an area that there are a lot of other vehicles on the road, though, so of course that would be a concern to the CHP. Can you tell us anything else that you know about the person inside the vehicle?
Yeah, unfortunately, again, I don't have too much information on who's behind the vehicle, what their motivations are, what their intentions are, or their motivation for fleeing from police.
Real concern, though, when you've got someone who's possibly under the influence, is for the public and also the officers involved, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the immediate apprehension of the violators, not more important than the safety of the uninvolved bystanders, other motorists, or the police officers. So, like I said, when it became apparent that the immediacy of the apprehension is outweighed by the deputies, the pursuit can be terminated.
All right, we have Sergeant Sheriff Grubb, Benjamin Grubb from the LA County Sheriff's Department on the telephone with us right now. Sergeant, if you will stay with us while I bring
Sure.
our viewers up to date with what's going on. This is a live police pursuit right now. CHP is in pursuit of that black vehicle you see right there. The driver at about 11:25 this morning, so coming up on 1 hour, refused to pull over after sheriff's deputies noticed in the driver refused to turn over in the lake, refused to pull over in the Lakewood area. And that's when the pursuit started. Initially, LA County Sheriff's Department was in pursuit. Right now, you can see the CHP right on the tail of this driver who has been driving very erratically, who officers suspect may be under the influence of something. It looks like one of the tires on the vehicle now may be flat, and that might be the reason that we have seen a slowdown, because this person was driving very, very quickly. Through that intersection right there, you could see that some people are beginning to pull over now, slow down as they see this pursuit making its way. This is the Westchester area. CHP was in surveillance mode. LA County Sheriff's Department was in surveillance mode. That means they pull back. They track this vehicle from overhead when they believe that it has become too much of a threat or a danger to the public, to anybody else who's on the road. Looks like he's really hugging that far left lane right now, kind of weaving in and out of traffic. Let's go back to the telephone right now. Sergeant Grubb,
Yes.
when you know that a driver has a flat tire, and we can see it pretty well right there, it looks like the driver's side front tire might be on the rim. As we watch CHP come up there, really close. They were about to attempt to pit maneuver, and it looks like the driver is aware of that, speeding up. So what kind of challenges is that driver facing right now, as if he is indeed driving on the rim of that front tire of the vehicle?
Well, I do know based on radio traffic earlier that the sheriff's deputies at the initial stages of this pursuit were attempting to coordinate some spike strip maneuvers. So I don't know if that eventually led to the flat tire we're watching. But I would imagine it's difficult to steer a vehicle of that size missing a tire.
All right, we're watching this live pursuit winding its way through the Westchester area. CHP coming up on the vehicle again. Looked like a second attempt for a pit maneuver, just missed that rear bumper. Sergeant Benjamin Grubb from the LA County Sheriff's Department, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. We're going to let you go, get back to your job this afternoon as we continue to watch this. And this is a police pursuit that started about 11:25 this morning in the Lakewood area. A driver of that black vehicle running a red light right there, really close to oncoming traffic. And we've seen him do this before, where he comes up on an intersection at the last moment, decides to make a left turn. Again, it started in Lakewood. The driver wanted for reckless driving. We've got 2 CHP officers. Looks like we might have another pit maneuver right there. And there it is, a successful pit, spun it around. You've got the backup vehicle right there. And the door's open. The vehicle, though, still moving. So it looks like he left the vehicle in drive, and this pursuit suspect appears ready to give up. He knows the drill here. Face down on the ground. CHP moving in to check that vehicle, make sure there's nobody else inside. They're going to be yelling out commands as they get ready to take this suspect into custody. Let's go back to the telephone. CHP officer Juan Galvan on the telephone with us. And officer, it looks like the end of this pursuit, but boy, we saw some really close calls today.
Absolutely. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me, first and foremost. My picture is a little bit delayed, but absolutely, it looks like it was a successful pit maneuver. The suspect is on the ground and being placed into custody by our officers as we speak.
And I assume that you were watching the pursuit this afternoon?
I did see a few minutes prior to the ending of the pursuit. Obviously, pursuits are inherently dangerous in its own, especially the way this person was driving. So it's imperative that we get this person off the road.
All right. They were initially assuming that this driver was under the influence because of the way he was driving. How does that differ now and how they take him into custody if he is believed to be under the influence?
Right. Well, as he is placed into custody, and if he is determined to be driving under the influence, they will do the field sobriety test as any other DUI stop would occur. And if he is determined to be placed under or is under the influence, that will be an additional charge as well as the reckless driving and the evading.
Certainly looks like he's complying, and that's got to be a big relief to all of the officers involved from several agencies this afternoon.
Absolutely. We took this pursuit over from the Sheriff's Department, and it took a little bit to get into position, and we were finally able to take the primary lead and successfully terminate this pursuit.
All right, the end of a pursuit. CHP Officer Juan Galvan, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. A pursuit that went on for just about 1 hour. It is now ended in the Playa del Vista area. The suspect, wanted for reckless driving, possibly driving under the influence, is in custody after a successful pit maneuver by the CHP.